Maya Reynolds sat alone at the front of the courtroom, her hands cold and shaking even though she kept them folded tightly in her lap. The room buzzed with whispers, gasps, and judgmental stares. It felt like the air itself was pressing down on her. She could feel eyes on her from every direction. Some curious, some pitying, most cruel. Behind her sat her parents and siblings, but instead of offering her support, comfort, or even a gentle look, they sat on the opposite side, right behind her younger sister, Tessa. They leaned toward Tessa, whispering to her, patting her shoulder as if she were the one who needed protection. They didn't glance at Maya. Not once. Maya kept her eyes on the front, trying to breathe steadily. Her heart felt too heavy for her chest. She had already lost so much. Her marriage, her trust, her sense of safety. Now she was standing in front of a court full of strangers and family members who were ready to watch her break all over again. The judge entered, and the room went silent. Everyone rose. Chairs scraped. Then everyone sat again. Maya kept her eyes forward, trying not to let the tears in her eyes fall. She wasn't going to give anyone the satisfaction of seeing her cry. The judge shuffled some papers, cleared his throat, and read the petition out loud. This court has received a request, he said, for Maya Reynolds to provide financial support for the child her husband fathered, with her sister, Tessa Reynolds. The words hit Maya like a punch. She felt the room tilt for a second. She gripped the table to steady herself. There it was, said out loud in public. The shame. The betrayal. The knife that had already been pushed into her heart months ago was being twisted again. Behind her, someone gasped dramatically. Someone else whispered, "What kind of family is this?" Cameras clicked from reporters. Every sound felt like it was echoing in Maya's bones. Maya didn't turn around. She didn't need to see Tessa's face to know she was probably pretending to look sad or fragile. And she didn't need to see Jordan, her soon-to-be ex-husband, to know he was hiding behind a mask of regret or innocence. The judge continued reading, explaining how Jordan was unable to pay child support and how, under a certain legal loophole, Maya could be held responsible. The room burst into small murmurs again. Maya's chest tightened. How much more did they expect her to take? They had broken her marriage, her trust, her heart, and now they expected her to pay them for it? The judge finally looked up at her. "Mrs. Reynolds, do you have anything you wish to say at this time?" The room fell silent again. Maya slowly stood. Her legs trembled, but her voice, when it came out, was steady and sharp, a voice she didn't even know she still had. "Yes, Your Honor," she said, staring straight ahead. She took a breath. "I refuse to pay a single dollar." A loud gasp rushed across the courtroom. Maya lifted her chin. "Because that child," she said, her voice cutting through the room, "might not even be my husband's." The courtroom exploded in noise as Maya stood there, no longer the broken one, but the one holding the truth. Maya grew up in Houston in a Nigerian-American family that believed strongly in unity, respect, and tradition. On the outside, they looked close and unbreakable. They celebrated every birthday together, cooked big meals on weekends, and went to church every Sunday. But inside the house, things were not always peaceful. Her parents had high expectations, and mistakes were not easily forgiven. Love was shown through discipline more than gentle words. Even as a child, Maya learned to be responsible. She woke up early, helped her mother in the kitchen, and made sure her younger siblings were ready for school. Out of all of them, she felt she carried the most weight. She was the firstborn, and her parents reminded her of that every day. Her younger sister, Tessa, was different. Tessa was loud, playful, and sometimes reckless. She loved attention, and people loved giving it to her. She was beautiful, charming, and always knew how to get what she wanted. While Maya tried her best to follow every rule, Tessa often broke them, and somehow still got sympathy. But despite all of this, Maya stayed loyal to her. Tessa would run to Maya whenever she got in trouble, and Maya would help her, covering for her, comforting her, fixing things. Their relationship wasn't perfect, but it was held together by sisterhood and years of protecting each other. As they grew older, the differences between them became even more obvious. Maya focused on school and work. Tessa focused on being admired. Maya was the steady one. Tessa was the storm. Then came Jordan. Jordan was charming, confident, and good-looking. He had a smile that pulled everyone in, and a confidence that made people trust him easily. Maya met him at a community event, and within minutes he had her parents laughing and praising him. He knew how to impress people, and Maya's family fell in love with him almost immediately. Her parents adored him. Her siblings admired him. And Tessa, well, Tessa watched him with a strange look Maya couldn't understand at the time, a mix of envy and fascination. When Maya married Jordan, her family treated the wedding like a celebration of success. In their eyes, she had chosen well, a man who was ambitious, social, and seemed to truly care for her. But even from the early days, small red flags appeared. Jordan often dismissed her feelings as overthinking. He talked more about himself than he listened to her. He flirted a little too easily with women, especially when he thought Maya wasn't paying attention. And when Maya achieved something at work, he made subtle jokes that made her feel smaller. She noticed these things, but she pushed them away. She had been raised to be responsible, to make things work, to hold the family together. Marriage, she believed, was something you protected, not something you ran away from. Meanwhile, Tessa's jealousy slowly grew. Whenever Maya brought Jordan home, Tessa acted overly friendly with him, laughing too loudly at his jokes, asking him questions she never asked Maya, touching his arm lightly as she walked past. Maya told herself she was imagining it, but deep inside something felt wrong. As years passed, Tessa's competitiveness became stronger. If Maya bought a new dress, Tessa bought a flashier one. If Maya shared good news, Tessa shared something better. True or not, Tessa always needed the attention to return to her. Still, Maya stayed loyal. She protected her sister from arguments with their parents, lent her money when she needed it, and helped her through breakups and drama. Maya gave and gave and gave. She didn't know how not to. Then came the day everything cracked open. Maya discovered the affair, her husband and her sister, the two people she had defended more than anyone else. The betrayal cut so deep that she felt like she had lost her past, her present, and even her sense of self. She moved out, trying to rebuild her life from the pieces left behind. She worked long hours, avoided family gatherings, and tried to stay strong, even though she felt like she was drowning inside. Her family, instead of standing by her, turned her into the cold one. They said she wasn't forgiving enough. They said she was making the family look bad. They said Tessa was younger, emotional, and had made a mistake, while Maya was being too harsh. Tessa painted herself as the victim, crying, apologizing publicly, telling relatives she never meant to hurt Maya. And somehow, people believed her. Maya watched all of this quietly, her heart bruised but still beating. She didn't fight back. She didn't scream. She simply tried to survive. But deep down she knew this wasn't the end. Something inside her was changing, slowly, painfully. She was starting to understand that loyalty could be used against you, and that sometimes the people you protect are the ones who break you the most. And soon, she would be forced to confront all of it, in a courtroom she never expected to stand inside. Maya was at home when the envelope arrived. It looked like a normal letter, but her name was printed on the front in a formal, cold font. When she opened it and began reading, her hands started to shake. She was being sued, not for anything she had done, but for child financial support. The baby her husband Jordan had fathered with her sister, Tessa. The letter explained that Jordan was now unable to pay. He had reported himself as financially unstable, claiming he had no income, no savings, and no ability to provide for the child. Because of a weird legal loophole, the responsibility could fall on the spouse, or in this case, the betrayed wife. Maya felt her heart drop. She sat down slowly on the edge of her bed, reading the letter again, hoping she had misunderstood. But the words stayed the same. They wanted her to pay for the child that destroyed her marriage. She put the letter down and covered her face with her hands. It felt like a nightmare she couldn't wake up from. Later that evening, she heard loud knocking at her door. Before she could respond, her parents and siblings walked in, their faces hard and serious. They didn't ask how she was. They didn't ask if she was okay. Her mother crossed her arms. "Maya, you got the notice, right?" Maya nodded slowly. Her father shook his head in disappointment. "We came here to tell you what you must do. Tessa is family. That baby is blood. You need to take responsibility and do the right thing." Maya stared at them. Do the right thing? For what? For their betrayal? Her younger brother stepped forward. "Jordan can't pay. Tessa can't raise the baby alone. You have a stable job. You can help. Help." That word felt like salt on a wound. Then Tessa walked in from behind them. Her expression wasn't sad or guilty. It was smug, calm, like she knew she had the entire family standing behind her. She tilted her head and said softly, "Maya, you owe me this. I never meant to hurt you, but you know things happen. You're stronger than me. You can handle this." Maya felt her breath catch. "I owe you? You slept with my husband. You let him lie to me. You hid it for months." Tessa shrugged lightly, her eyes cold even though her voice stayed soft. "I'm the one raising a child now. You're the one who doesn't understand motherhood." Her mother nodded. "Maya, your sister needs support. Don't make this harder than it already is." Something snapped in Maya then. The pain, the betrayal, the loneliness. It all mixed into a quiet, sharp anger. "No," she said clearly. "I'm not paying. I'm not taking responsibility for their choices." Her father slammed his hand on the table. "You think you're doing something brave? You're embarrassing this family. If you refuse, we will stand with Tessa in court." And that was the moment Maya understood. She wasn't fighting just Tessa, not just Jordan. She was fighting her entire family. Her mother's disappointed eyes, her father's angry voice, her siblings' cold stares, Tessa's smirk. They had chosen sides, and it wasn't hers. When they left her apartment, slamming the door behind them, the silence felt heavy. Maya sat on the couch, staring at the wall. She realized she was completely alone. The people she had protected her whole life had turned into her biggest enemies, but instead of breaking her, it woke something inside her. She picked up the legal notice again. The anger had settled into determination. If they wanted to drag her to court, she would not go unprepared. The next morning, she contacted a lawyer named Ms. Carter, a sharp, calm woman with a strong voice. Maya explained everything, from the affair to the lawsuit to her family's reaction. Ms. Carter listened carefully, then leaned forward. "Maya," she said, "this case is not just unfair. Something about it doesn't add up. Jordan suddenly being unable to pay? The timing is strange." Maya nodded. "I feel like they're hiding something." "Then we'll find it," Ms. Carter said. "But you need to be ready. This won't be just a legal fight. It's emotional too." Maya took a deep breath. She was ready. She had spent her whole life being responsible, obedient, and loyal. Now she needed to be something else. Strong, determined, unafraid. She wasn't just fighting for money. She was fighting for the truth, and for herself. Maya's lawyer, Ms. Carter, worked quickly. Within days, she brought Maya documents and screenshots that made her stomach twist. Jordan had been lying. He wasn't unable to pay child support at all. He was hiding assets, moving money into secret accounts, and pretending to be broke so the court would push the responsibility onto Maya. When Maya saw the evidence, she felt sick. Jordan wasn't just careless. He wasn't just unfaithful. He was trying to make her pay for a child that wasn't hers, while he protected his own money. "He planned this," Maya whispered, staring at the papers with trembling hands. Ms. Carter nodded. "He wants to walk away clean. He wants you to take the fall. But we're not going to let that happen. We just need more proof." Maya tried to stay strong, but things got worse at home. Her family didn't leave her alone. They called her every day, sometimes 10 times. When she didn't answer, they showed up at her door. They argued with her in the hallway, shouting loud enough for neighbors to hear. Her mother cried dramatically and said, "You're breaking this family apart." Her father said, "You think you're above us now? You think you're better than your sister?" Her siblings accused her of being selfish. "Tessa is suffering and you don't care," they yelled. Tessa sent texts acting innocent. "Why are you being so mean? Why can't you help me? I'm your sister." But then she sent other texts too. One's full of arrogance. "You're alone now. Nobody is on your side. You can't win this, Maya." Maya blocked her number, but Tessa found new ways to contact her. Fake accounts. Messages through cousins. Voice notes pretending to cry, then switching to scolding her. It was like every direction Maya turned, someone was trying to break her down. One night, Maya sat at her kitchen table with a calendar, trying to understand something that had been bothering her. The dates didn't make sense. Tessa's pregnancy timeline didn't match the time Jordan claimed the affair happened. If Jordan was telling the truth, Tessa should have been further along. Or less. Something was wrong. The more she looked, the more confused she became. Ms. Carter agreed. The dates are off, she said. If we can prove this, it could change everything. It could mean Jordan isn't the father. Maya felt a small spark of hope, but it quickly faded, because the next morning, Jordan showed up at her workplace. He waited for her in the parking lot, leaning against his car like he owned the world. When she saw him, her chest tightened, but she walked toward her car, ignoring him. Maya, please, he said, touching her arm gently. I know you're hurt. I'm sorry. I made mistakes. Maya pulled her arm away. You lied. You hid money. You used me. Jordan sighed and put on the same sad puppy expression he always used to get out of trouble. I was scared. I didn't know what to do. Tessa, she was emotional. I didn't want the baby to suffer. The baby. Maya snapped. What about me? You're strong, Jordan said softly. You always have been. You can handle things better than Tessa. She needs help. Maya stared at him, shocked. So your solution was to destroy my life even more? Jordan didn't answer. He just kept giving her that practiced, gentle look. The look he used when he wanted forgiveness, without taking responsibility. But this time, Maya walked away. She didn't look back. The pressure from her family, however, kept building. They cornered her at church. They scolded her at family gatherings she didn't even want to attend. They told other relatives she was heartless. They made her the villain. The stress became too much. One night, Maya broke down. She cried so hard she couldn't breathe. She curled up on the floor, shaking, wishing she could disappear. All her life she had been strong, responsible, the one who fixed everything. Now she felt like she was falling apart. But the next morning, she stood up slowly, wiped her face, and made a choice. She wasn't letting any of them destroy her. She started eating better, sleeping more, talking to Ms. Carter daily, writing notes about Tessa's timeline, saving every voicemail and screenshot, gathering every piece of evidence she could. And then something unexpected happened. While sorting through old messages, Maya found chat screenshots between Tessa and a man she didn't recognize. The messages were flirtatious at first, then turned intimate. The dates matched the early months of Tessa's pregnancy. One message froze Maya in place. I think the baby might be yours. Maya stared at the screen, her heart pounding. Jordan might not be the father. This baby might belong to someone else completely. She rushed to show Ms. Carter. Her lawyer's eyes widened. This changes everything. If we can connect these messages to the timeline, the court will have to order a paternity test. The stakes were growing higher. The truth was getting closer. And the court date was only days away. Maya felt fear. But she also felt strength rising in her chest. For the first time in a long time, she wasn't just surviving. She was fighting back. The courtroom was packed on the day of the hearing. People whispered to each other. Phones were hidden under jackets, and the tension felt heavy in the air. Maya walked in quietly with Ms. Carter by her side. Her heart raced, but her face stayed calm. She had learned to hide her fear. Her family sat behind Tessa again, just like before. Her parents looked proud, as if they were sure Maya would lose. Tessa had her head held high, pretending to be innocent and delicate. Jordan sat beside her, eyes tired but still full of arrogance. The judge entered, and the room fell silent. The case began. Tessa's lawyer spoke first, painting Maya as cold, uncooperative, and neglecting her family. They talked about Tessa being a single mother, and Jordan being unable to pay. Maya kept her eyes forward. Then the judge turned to Ms. Carter. You may present your evidence. Ms. Carter stood confidently. Thank you, Your Honor. We have two major pieces of evidence that will change the direction of this case. The room leaned in. She clicked a button, and the screen behind her lit up. Messages appeared, clear as day. These are text messages exchanged between Tessa Reynolds and another man during the time she became pregnant, Ms. Carter said. These messages show she was involved with him intimately. The courtroom exploded with gasps. Tessa's eyes widened. No, that's not. Those are fake. Ms. Carter didn't even look at her. Your Honor, these messages were recovered from Tessa's own phone backup. Each has a verified timestamp. One of the texts appeared in large bold letters on the screen. I think the baby might be yours. Maya closed her eyes for a second. Even though she already knew, seeing it on the screen still hurt. Jordan shot up from his seat. Tessa, What is this? You told me. Tessa grabbed his arm, shaking her head wildly. Jordan, listen, it was just a mistake. You're the father. You are. He meant nothing. Jordan pulled his arm away, panic spreading across his face. The judge raised a hand. Order in the courtroom. The noise slowly quieted. Ms. Carter continued, her voice steady. Now for the second part. Jordan claimed he is financially unable to pay child support. We investigated his finances. Another set of documents appeared on the screen. These show that he moved large amounts of money into hidden accounts. He lied to the court to avoid responsibility and attempted to shift the financial burden onto my client. More gasps. A reporter whispered, "This is unbelievable." Jordan's face turned pale. I was trying to protect myself. I didn't mean. The judge cut him off sharply. You attempted financial fraud. This is a serious matter. Tessa began shaking. Jordan held his head in his hands. Their plan was falling apart in front of everyone. Ms. Carter took a deep breath. In light of the messages and the conflicting timelines, we request an immediate paternity test to determine if Mr. Reynolds is the biological father. The judge nodded. Granted. The test was ordered that day. Everyone waited in silence as the results came in. When the file was handed to the judge, he read it carefully. His expression hardened. He looked up. The paternity test shows that Jordan Reynolds is not the father of the child. The entire courtroom erupted. People gasped. Reporters rushed to the doors with their phones. Maya's mother covered her mouth in shock. Her father stared at the floor, humiliated. Maya's siblings whispered angrily at Tessa. Their whole family image had shattered. Tessa let out a loud sob. No, please no. She turned to her family, but even they looked disgusted now. Jordan stood up, furious. You lied to me. You ruined everything. The judge banged his gavel. Enough. This case is dismissed. Maya Reynolds is not responsible for any support. Jordan Reynolds will be investigated for financial fraud. Maya felt her heart beating slowly, deeply. She didn't smile. She didn't celebrate. She simply breathed. All she had ever wanted was the truth. Now it was out in the open, painful, ugly but real. As everyone around her shouted, cried, or argued, Maya sat still. Her family avoided her eyes now. Their heads hung low, faces red with shame. Jordan and Tessa were falling apart. But Maya, she remained calm. Her heart was broken, but she finally felt something she hadn't felt in a long time. Vindicated. Seen. Free. Maya walked out of the courthouse that day knowing one thing for sure. She could not keep the same people in her life anymore. Her family had chosen lies over her, chosen Tessa's comfort over her pain, and chosen to shame her instead of support her. She loved them, yes, but she knew love was not enough. Not when it kept breaking her. So she made a decision. She stopped answering their calls. She blocked the numbers that sent hurtful messages. She stepped back from every family group chat. At first it hurt deeply. Cutting ties with people you love feels like cutting pieces of yourself. But every day she stayed away. She felt a little lighter, a little safer, a little more in control. Meanwhile, the consequences for Jordan began quickly. The court opened a full investigation into his hidden accounts and false financial claims. Maya heard through her lawyer that he might face heavy fines or even jail time for fraud. His perfect image was crumbling, something he never imagined would happen. Tessa also faced fallout. The man who might have been the father of her child had disappeared, and her reputation in the family and community was shattered. Even her parents, who once defended her with everything they had, didn't know how to protect her anymore. For the first time, Tessa stood alone. While chaos followed them, Maya focused on rebuilding her life. She moved out of her small, dim apartment and rented a brighter place across town. Somewhere with more windows, more quiet, and more sunlight. She bought new sheets, new dishes, and even new curtains, trying to create a space that felt peaceful, safe, and truly hers. One afternoon, she got a call from her boss. He told her a senior position had opened up, a role she had always wanted but never applied for because she was busy fixing everyone else's problems. You deserve this, he said. And for the first time in a long time, she believed it. She started therapy soon after. At first, she wasn't sure how to open up. She had spent years hiding her emotions, keeping everything neat and quiet inside her. But slowly, session by session, she began to speak. She talked about the betrayal, the guilt, the pressure she grew up with. She talked about being the responsible one, the protector, the one who always gave without receiving. And she cried, and healed, and grew stronger. Her therapist taught her something simple but powerful. Peace is not earned, it is chosen. Maya began choosing it every day. She took long walks in the morning. She cooked meals she enjoyed. She wrote in a journal. She stopped apologizing for things that weren't her fault. She learned to breathe slowly again. A few weeks later, her younger brother, David, called her from a new number. She almost declined the call, but something told her to answer. His voice was soft, unsure. Maya, I'm sorry. She didn't speak at first. The silence made him nervous. I should have stood up for you, he continued. I knew what Tessa did was wrong. I knew the way the family treated you was wrong. I was scared to go against them, and I hurt you because of that. I don't expect you to forgive me right away. I want to make it right. Maya felt tears rise, but she controlled her voice. Thank you, David, she said. It means more than you know. They talked for a long time. Slowly, gently they rebuilt the connection. Not rushed, not forced, just honest. It was the first sign that not everything from her past had to be lost. But even with that small healing, Maya didn't forget her promise to herself. She had spent her entire life putting others first. Now she was putting herself first. On a quiet Sunday morning, she sat on her balcony with a cup of tea. The air was warm, and the city hummed softly around her. She looked out at the sky and felt something settle inside her. Something calm, strong, steady. She wasn't the broken woman standing alone in court anymore. She was a woman who had walked through betrayal, judgment, and loneliness, and still survived. She was a woman who learned to say no. A woman who learned to walk away. A woman who finally chose herself. And for the first time in years, she felt truly free. Maya returns to the courthouse alone. The building looks different now, not as heavy, not as scary. She walks slowly through the hallway where she once shook in fear. Now her steps are calm and steady. She holds a thin folder in her hand, the official paperwork proving that the case against her has been dismissed. No more accusations. No more threats. No more lies tying her to people who never protected her. She reaches the long wooden bench outside the empty courtroom. It's the same bench where she once cried after a hearing, feeling small and alone. This time she doesn't sit. She simply places the folder on the bench, neat and centered. To her, it is not just paper. It is a final goodbye. A sign that she is done letting other people's chaos control her life. She whispers softly, almost to herself. Loyalty doesn't mean letting people destroy you. The words hang in the quiet hallway. She finally realizes she never owed anyone her pain. Not her parents. Not Tessa. Not Jordan. Not even the version of herself who tried too hard to keep everyone happy. She turns toward the exit, and for the first time in a long time, her chest feels light. The air outside is warm, the sky a soft shade of blue, and she takes a long, deep breath. Not rushed, not shaky, just honest and free. As she walks down the courthouse steps, she doesn't look back. She doesn't need to. Everything behind her is finished. There is no dramatic music, no cheering crowd, no family waiting with open arms. There is only Maya and the quiet strength she earned through surviving the storm. She steps onto the sidewalk with a small, peaceful smile. Not because everything is perfect, but because she finally understands that peace is something she can choose. For herself, by herself. And she chooses it now. She keeps walking, steady and sure. The sun warming her face as she moves toward a future she finally feels worthy of. A future that is hers. Only hers. Hey friends. Thanks for watching all the way through. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more. See you next time.